In this unboxing and review of the Begode Extreme, I'll be showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly. My honest thoughts coming up right now. Welcome to Wheel Good Time, where today we are unboxing the Begode Extreme. Let's get started. This thing weighs a little over 100 pounds with all the packaging. Shock pump. There we go. What do we have in here? In the box, we have a 134 volt, 4 amp charger here. And there it is in all its glory. Well, that was heavy. We have package here. Looks like this is a coil shock. Okay, so on the screen here on the video, it shows it flashing, but if you're looking at it with the naked eye, you really can't tell. So on our screen here, we have a 3-digit readout for our speed. And these 5 bars here are our battery level indicators. So we're basically around 80%, give or take. The number 3 here is mode. We're in mode 3 right now, or hard mode. It's going to be a bit stiffer. And here is our temperature sensor, and it's 24 degrees Celsius. Looks like someone at the Begode factory took my wheel for a quick test ride before they shipped it out. So it has 1.5 kilometers of ride time on it. We have a nice knobby tire here. I like the tread and decent mud guard. Looks like we have an adjustable kickstand. At least I was able to adjust it. There we go, just a little bit. With the nubs, looks like they'll wear down over time, and then you can just easily replace these. I like that. From the factory, it came with the air shock, so we're just gonna pump that up right now.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Let it be known that this stock air pump is basically trash. Get yourself a better one if you're gonna be sticking with the air shock. This is no good.
2,000 years later.
Okay, we're just shy of 300 PSI. Let's take these off and check out the pedals. These pedals look like they're made out of about 40% less material than the previous spike pedals from Begode, like on the Master Pro. A lot thinner. They look pretty strong though. Same exact type of spikes if I remember correctly. So it looks like they should keep a good amount of grip. These pads are adjustable. I was actually expecting this to have the pads not on it, but looks like they threw these on the factory. They're actually screw in, which is really nice. You can actually mount a plate on here and then put on whatever third-party pads that you want. So I like this. You can adjust it up and down if you want to. You can't adjust the angle, but so far, I like it. Let's check out the trolley handle. Goes up to the first position. Seems pretty secure that way. And you can trolley it pretty easily that way. Going up here, horribly loose. Horribly loose. The reason for this is because of the plastic socket that it's in right here is just, it's got a lot of play in it. If this was tightened down, it would be very easy to have this go up and down freely. I've been asking Begode to fix this ever since they started making trolley handles this way, and it doesn't seem like they're listening in that regard. Another little flaw that I see in the trolley handle is this right here. These screws are angled in and they dig into the plastic for this trolley handle assembly. Eventually these screws are going to wear out this if you continuously use the trolley handle. So just keep an eye out for that. This wears down, and this is kind of a high failure rate part. Fortunately, this wheel has a handle. So if I need to trolley around, I can just grab this and move it around as necessary. Something else that is a huge improvement on build quality that Begode did is these incredibly thick metal plates here that this is where the batteries are at. So your batteries are extremely well protected, very, very sturdy, very strong. It makes me think you don't even really need any true fairing system. These pads really are huge, and so are these really thick plates. So really, I don't see the need to buy any extra protection for this wheel.
Taking the Extreme out for its first ride ever, I found the torque to be absolutely there and ready to deliver. Braking power was utterly outstanding. If I leaned back, all 99-ish pounds of it came to a stop so willingly. In fact, on gravel or dirt, I practically skidded to a stop. Anything I asked of this wheel, it did without any grunts, straining, or beeps. Acceleration was also very willing, but it was hampered a lot by the pads that were included on this wheel. Let me explain. The included pads are adjustable up and down, but everyone's ergonomics and preferences are different. I found the top of my shin pressing on this top corner of the pads rather than my shin pressing on the flat part. Because of this, it caused a lot of discomfort because I was pressing on the corner to torque down. To mitigate this, I wore my Elite shin guards, which distributed the pressure across my legs. The bottom part did hold my foot down securely, but the pads are all one cohesive unit. Without cutting it, I can't just remove the top part. For that reason, I highly recommend getting a set of aftermarket pads and adjusting the angle to fit you exactly the way you want. I also found that the battery boxes also have a sharp edge on the top that does provide some discomfort for the inside portion of the leg. Grizzla is the only company right now that offers a fairing plate set that has a gradual slope at the top over the battery boxes that provides some level of relief. I expect more companies to also follow suit, because the sharp angles do make this EUC's ergonomics not very good from a comfort perspective. Wearing shin guards that cover part of your legs, such as the Elites you see me wearing in this video, mitigate that discomfort to some extent. I also had quite a heartbreaking experience. On my very first ride, I experienced a pedal clip that dented my left pedal pretty good. It's still rideable, and I don't even feel it. That brings me to my next point though. These pedals are way lighter than the studded pedals that Begode used to offer. If I suffered this impact with my Master Pro V1 with those heavy pedals, the pedals likely would have cracked or shattered. Instead, it just bent, and I was able to ride home. Let's call that a plus for the Extreme. Frankly, I'm just glad my shoulder was sore for a few days, rather than getting my toes broken. I love the fact that the Extreme has a pad built in for seated riding, and you don't even need to pay extra for it. Talk about value. Even if you don't ride seated on this wheel, you can take a seat comfortably on it while you're stopped. The handle on it makes it perfect to grab and get that reference point to bring yourself down onto that seat. It isn't the absolute best EUC for seated riding. By not having that gyro effect that you get on larger wheels, it can still feel a little bit squirrely. Then again, this wheel isn't designed to be primarily a seated riding machine. It's made for riding while standing on trails. But it was nice to see the thoughtfulness put into this wheel, where they made the seated riding just a bit better, even though that wasn't its main purpose. My primary ride is the Begode Master Pro, so coming down in size to this 18-inch EUC was quite a different experience for me. Some people may call wheels of this size Agile, while others may call it squirrely or twitchy. What you want on a trail is the ability to flick it and whip it around tight turns when necessary. When traveling at speeds above 30 to 35 miles per hour, even the slightest wrong move with a smaller diameter wheel could mean a crash occurring. This wheel lacks the gyro effect the way that larger EUCs have, so some might find it a little unstable. This isn't a knock against the Extreme. This is just an inherent fact about all electric unicycles of this size. This wheel is very, very nimble and agile, or at high speeds, you might call it twitchy. Don't push this wheel to the upper limit of its speed capabilities and you will have a great time with tons of safety margin. This wheel is capable of about 30 to 50 miles of riding, give or take. If you take it slow and you're a lightweight rider, you can definitely get on the higher end of that. Mine had Samsung 50E batteries, which are good, but for safety, this EUC needs 50S batteries in order to access lots of current from the 4P battery configuration that is present on this EUC. Begode has plans to send out a 40T version, but that will have 20% less capacity. 50S batteries cost a bit more, but would provide much less voltage sag and deliver all the power this machine needs without sacrificing range. The included shock in the version 1 Extreme was an air shock that is an improvement on the previous version that Begode manufactured. The jury's still out how long this will last, but thus far I haven't had any problems with it at all. The nice thing about the air shock is that it's inherently a progressive shock. The vendor that I bought my Extreme from, Next Gen Mobility, was kind enough to throw in a spring shock as well. Here's the spring shock pictured after I installed it. Pardon the dirt, but keep something in mind. You probably can't trust a review of a trail EUC if it never really got dirty. The 750-pound spring is essentially useless and only good for extremely lightweight riders. The 900-pound spring was very good, but for someone of my size, I would have preferred one with a higher spring weight. It just sags a bit too much for my liking. Lo and behold, Begode listened to our pleas. They promised everyone that ordered a Batch 1 Extreme would receive a replacement coil shock, complete with a stronger spring to support heavier riders and those who like a stiffer suspension and prevent bottom outs. The headlight was extremely bright, although it's not shown in this video. The footage just came out not awesome. Anyway, like all Begode EUCs, it dims when it stops and increases in brightness when you start moving. A very nice touch. The headlight is adjustable using an Allen wrench, but I don't think you'll want to adjust it. You can make all the micro adjustments that you want on it. The RGB taillights are pretty to look at, but if you're riding on the street, then what you really want is a red taillight that gets brighter when you start braking. Instead, it flashes rapidly when braking. Also, Begode included turn signals on this wheel, which activates when you start your turn. A lot of EUCs are doing that these days, and I find that to be a bit of a useless gimmick. The purpose of a turn signal is to indicate to others that you are planning to turn, not that you are currently turning. The tire included is an 18 by 3 inch Knobby Shinko 244. I don't recommend this tire on this EUC, or any EUC for that matter, but it's better than some other options out there. I found the contact patch to be quite small, despite the tire being wider. This is partly because of the wheel size being on the smaller side, and this can be slightly remedied by deflating the tire a few PSI to improve your grip. I say this with a huge asterisk. You don't want to underinflate it to the point that you risk damaging the rim going over uneven terrain. I recommend that you install the Shinko 241 tire instead. It has a much better rounded profile, has more rubber that touches the ground, and therefore has better grip and fits the rim perfectly. Everyone that I've talked to who has used this tire on the Extreme prefers it over the Shinko 244. A street tire may also be appropriate for your use case, and there's nothing wrong with that. But since the Extreme is purpose-built as a trail EUC, few are likely to go that route. I see this EUC as a stellar wheel that is great for an adult learner. It will not be an easy EUC to learn on, let's be clear about that. It also will be a fantastic wheel for trail riders. Even for the most advanced riders, I don't think a person will ever find themselves outgrowing this wheel. Sure, you may buy this and decide you want something bigger for the street, but you're unlikely going to ever find yourself wishing you had a wheel with more power. Currently, there are no other electric unicycles on the market that have this much suspension travel distance on a 12-inch rim. This machine is a great one, and I foresee it lasting a very long time with its over-the-top durability and build quality. I hope that Begode dramatically upgrades their trolley handle, pad design, and choice of tire. I'm not holding my breath for it though. It's pretty unlikely. Fortunately, these complaints are fairly small, or they can be fixed with third-party components. Even as a Batch 1 wheel, this EUC shows incredible promise. This 134-volt electric unicycle is incredibly powerful for a fairly small package. I'm looking forward to the upgraded suspension parts that will be sent to every Batch 1 owner as proof of Begode's dedication to their customers. I hope other brands are taking notes. This is how you assure your customers that a Batch 1 EUC is still worth buying. If you are thinking about buying this machine, check out the video description for affiliate links and discount codes to all the best vendors. The Extreme is the best EUC for trails already, and it will only get better with Batch 2 onward. I have no regrets buying this first Batch Extreme. Hand this wheel the crown that it deserves. Hail to the king.